Hi, so today I'm going to go over some of the highlights of the meditation weekend or Saturday. So it's good to review things. So hopefully you won't mind going through a review because there's a lot of material. So I'll hit some of the high points because that's the fifth, the six perfections. Remember, the six perfections are giving, many types of giving love being the most important one, giving moral discipline or being decent, patience, being able to accept what life gives you after you've done all you can, effort with joy, and concentration or meditation is what we'll look at today, and wisdom, understanding ultimate reality is the last. Okay, so let's start this with the peaceful heart meditation. We begin by watching our breath and focusing on the physical sensation as the breath comes in and out of our body at the tip of our nose. And with each breath, just tell yourself, let go, breath by breath. Take a deep breath whenever you wish. Now drop down to your heart and start to connect with that feeling of peace. That's part of your true being. Just allowing yourself to feel peaceful, that ultimately everything is okay. And let yourself relax into that feeling that everything's okay. When everything is said and done, everything's okay. Relaxing into it. And letting go. last 2 minutes. Center in your heart and think ultimately everything's okay. I can relax into it. Okay, so I'm going to try and cover some of the highlights of this Saturday's half-day course on meditation. So just some of the more important points. Meditation is holding a virtuous object or a positive object in your mind, like tolerance or kindness, and you can do that all day long. So you can meditate on it in your meditation session, get it imprinted in your mind, and all day long you practice. So meditation has many benefits, which is very nice. It helps us have clarity. By training in meditation, we create an inner space and clarity that enables us to control our mind regardless of the external circumstances. Usually we're so closely involved, we get pushed around by them. Something goes well, we feel happy. If something goes badly, we're unhappy. We're like a puppet on a string. We're so unfree. We're so dependent on outer circumstances. By training in meditation, we create an inner space and clarity that enable us to control our mind regardless of the external circumstances. Gradually, we develop mental equilibrium, a balanced mind that's happy, quietly happy, all the time, instead of an unbalanced mind that oscillates between the extremes of excitement and despondency. In America, we go for excitement a lot, which is not so good. Meditation, we do not advocate the kind of meditation that's just making your mind blank, okay? Because that could be peaceful. It's good for relaxation. It will never take you to enlightenment. So we want to go to enlightenment. So the type of meditation we teach is calming the mind, using the breath is good, and then adding a virtuous or a positive thought that helps transform your mind. So what we're trying to do is grow our mind step by step by step into the mind of an enlightened being. So we don't want to just be calm and blank. We don't want to stare at a candle flame or stare at the wall. You know, this doesn't do anything for us. So, except we can have center our mind, but we want to transform our mind. So for us, there's like 3 steps to meditation. The first is contemplation, where you think about your object. You think about it from different aspects. Like it might be compassion. You think about how different groups of people in the world suffer, and you just feel for them and you think, I'm going to do something. I'm going to become a high and holy being that can help people. I'm going to become a high and holy being. So you think about it, and then when you found the feeling, you found it, okay? And then you concentrate on it. That's called placement meditation. So it's thinking about it, finding what you want to concentrate on, and then concentrating on it. So we try and practice those 3 steps of contemplation, finding the object, and then holding it. Okay. When we meditate, it's not lockstep. We can add our own little examples. Okay. We can add our own understanding so that the meditation becomes alive for us. Okay. It's not like you read a meditation on a book and you have to follow it exactly. Okay. It's not like that. Read a meditation in a book, it gives you some ideas, a structure, and then you add your own ideas and your own details, which isn't really nice. Like, so, I think, why is it so hard then? If many, I know, a lot of it's hard is because we're trying to learn it as adults. Usually we find it difficult to control our mind. It seems that our mind is like a balloon in the wind, blown here and there by external circumstances. Things go well, our mind is happy. They go badly, it immediately becomes unhappy. So, for example, if we get what we want, such as a new possession, a new position, or a new partner, we get excited and cling to it tightly. Ever since we cannot have everything we want, we never get everything we want. And since we'll invariably be separated from the friends, position, and possessions we presently enjoy, at death, if not before, this mental stickiness or attachment causes us pain. So such ups and downs are caused because we're so tied to outer things. Like if things go well, I'm a good person. Things go badly, I'm a bad person. It's like we're really up and down depending on what happens in our life. We're like a yo-yo. It's yo-yo mind, up and down, up and down. And we can learn to have greater centeredness, greater strength. So we just need to work on that. So when we just think, it's just hard because I'm so used to being tied to external things to make me happy or external things to make me sad. So we try and get that kind of place inside that can take a lot of different things without being so freaked out. And gradually, as we practice, it takes more and more to freak us out. So we try and do things. Now, a big thing with meditation is distractions. Okay. A hint that I found, a couple of hints on dealing with distractions, is one thing is I found really helpful is when you're meditating along, and first of all, you have to notice that you're getting distracted. Sometimes you just go along and you don't even notice. Before you know, you've made your whole grocery list and decided what you're going to do in the afternoon. But first of all, you have to notice that you're getting distracted. Then if you pause for a second, just stop, just a second, collect yourself and go back to the meditation. It works better actually than if you try and just drag yourself back to the meditation, because half of your mind's still kind of fiddling around with a distraction, like, what kind of food should I buy when I go to the grocery store? You're still fiddling around with it a little bit. So if you stop, collect yourself and go back, it works a lot better. Another technique for dealing with distractions is just ignore them, okay? They're going to be like children yammering on the side of your consciousness, okay? But they're only part of your mind. So you just you don't pay them serious attention. You just kind of, okay, they're there, that's there. They'll be there for a while, but you just put your main attention on what you want your main attention on, which makes it much nicer. So our classical distractions are mental wandering, okay? So that we can do, stop for a second, come back to the meditation. Mental sinking, when we get kind of sinking down or falling asleep. This can happen when we're tired. Or mental excitement when we get thinking of objects of attachment. So the remedies for each of those, so each have a different thing. For mental wandering, you stop yourself and you focus, okay? Mental excitement, you need to sort of soften up a little bit. You need to loosen a little bit because you're really excited and into something. Just relax. That's the antidote to mental excitement. Mental sinking is you tighten up a little bit, okay? You try a little harder. So those are the classical distractions. When you meditate, it's good to elevate your mind first, to calm your mind with breathing meditation, like the one we practiced, and then elevate your mind a little bit. Maybe do a little bit of beautiful spiritual reading. That can help quite a lot. So you just kind of remember, oh yeah, I'm a spiritual being. You remember that. And that helps your mind in the meditation because you aren't just like hurtling from mundane things into to trying to meditate. A teacher of mine, Gensemta at the National Center, said it's nice you have if you have kind of a bit of a transition before you try and meditate. Like for him, he spends a little bit of time walking around the temple, circumambulating the temple, which is a beautiful, holy object. and that lets his mind relax, so that he's ready for meditation. So you can figure out your own things, your own little bit of transition. It could just be spending some extra time on the breathing, or kind of quieting yourself down a little bit, just detaching yourself from the distractions of the day before you start to try and meditate. But if you kind of relax your mind a little bit first, then you're more able to meditate, okay? Because it's a little bit easier. Now, meditation is a way that it's a tool that we deliberately evolve ourselves with. We deliberately evolve ourselves with meditation, which is nice, because what we're doing is, a nice thing about being a human being is that you can deliberately evolve yourself. You can deliberately change yourself. So we do that by placing ideas in our mind that are a little aspiring, okay? So if we want to keep growing, we put ideas in our mind that are aspirational ideas, like greater compassion, greater equanimity, that we're all equally important, greater tolerance, greater love, trying to catch our grasping in ourselves and trying to think of cherishing others more. So it's the best way to evolve ourselves, and it's the best way to solve our problems too, because most of our problems come from just like grasping at ourselves too tightly. Okay, when we meditate, we kind of loosen up our grasp on who we think we are. Things get less important, and we're elevating our mind to think of a virtuous or a positive object. Okay, so we're changing our mind. We're changing our mind, and we're deliberately upgrading ourselves by what we're putting in our mind. Often we'll be really careful about the food we put in our body, but sometimes we aren't really careful about what we put in our mind. We can put lots of things in our mind that are not that helpful. Like there's more and more violence on TV, and you have to kind of watch what you're putting into your mind, because it makes a difference. Really makes a difference. So watch what you put into your mind as carefully as what you watch putting into your body, because it will help you. It will help you. It helps all of us to be practical. So being constant is very important, because it's kind of like heartbeat. Okay, we want it to be constant. We want meditation and spiritual practice to be like a heartbeat in our life, a heartbeat that keeps changing us, changing us, changing us. So it's nice. Better to do a little bit every day than a whole lot on the weekend. Don't wait till the weekend to develop yourself. Do a little development every day. A little development every day, and you'll get a greater effect. You'll change faster, and you'll be more peaceful. I mean, the point of meditation is to make our mind peaceful and happy and contented. Okay, we still, know how to do things, but we can relax. It's just like, if you are an ice skater, if you watch the ice skaters that are doing these beautiful partner dances, they have to relax to do it. Like the classical one is the death spiral. Have you ever seen that? It's like where, the man holds the woman and she leans way back. So if he dropped her, she'd break her neck. Okay. And that's a hard one to let into. And some people can do it sort of. And every once in a while you see somebody that can completely do it. And you think, wow, that's really good. So we want to learn to relax like that, because it will help us. And that meditation we started out with, the peaceful heart meditation, is a nice way to set your mind towards relaxation at the beginning of the day. So Kadal Morton, one of our high teachers, says, do it before you get out of bed, okay? Just before you get out of bed, or you sit up on the bed if you need to. Just remember, watch your breath, and then remember that it's okay to be peaceful. It's okay to be peaceful. It's the heart of the universe, peace. And it's one of our deep qualities is peace. Okay, so meditation and the things that we're learning will be our best method to solve our problems. Because again, all our problems comes from being too self-focused, grasping at ourselves too tightly. So we want to mellow out. Mellow out is the name of the game. So on a practical level, if you try and do something AM and PM, you'll have your best effect. Because in the morning, before you hurtle into the day, it's really nice to do something. Even if it's just take 5 minutes to read something spiritual, and you remember that you're a spiritual being. You set your mind for the day, it's a really nice thing to do. To me, like, I always do practice first thing when I get up. And for some reason, like if I'm traveling or some unusual circumstance where I can't, I feel just downright barbaric. Because I think, I didn't have time to think of beauty before I started the day. I didn't have the time to remember that I'm a spiritual being before I started the day. And so I'm a mundane being because I hurtle into the day too fast. So you don't want to do that. It's good, even if it's just like 3 minutes, just something, or it can be as long as you like, however much time you have for it. But if you get up 10 minutes earlier, you've got 10 minutes to do something, and 10 minutes doesn't make hardly any difference in your sleep. It's nothing compared to the hopefully 7 or 8 hours that you get. Keep our fingers crossed. So constant is very good. Starting the day with a spiritual thought, and then before you go into bed, again, tuning your mind to the spiritual. Like, say if you're in the habit of reading before bed, which is really pleasant, please don't watch the news right before you go to sleep. It's just puts terrible images and a lot of fear in your mind. The news is geared to make us afraid and anxious, because a fearful population is easier to control. It's the name of the game. So, but instead of watching the news, do something positive, like if you read before bed, after you're reading and before you go to sleep, read a few minutes of something spiritual, because then it's like, oh, that's right. You remember that you're spiritual, and then you go into sleep with that thought. And they say a lot of happens during sleep. A lot of things happen during the sleep. You're visited by a lot of different spirits during your sleep, some positive, some negative. So they advise not sleeping on your back because then you're wide open. But if you find that that's the way that you're comfortable and you need to sleep that way, surround yourself with the egg of light and just say, nothing harmful comes in, only good things come in. So you're just deliberately shielding yourself. And that's a good thing for little kids that are scared of the dark, because they're more open, so they're more prey to, spirits bugging them. So it's recommended that you sleep on your side, ideally your right side, because it mutes your brain a little bit, so your dreams aren't quite so wild. It's apparently good for your organs too. A friend of mine who had just come through pregnancy and had gotten all this good advice, she thought, darn it, that's the same thing they told me in my pregnancy class, sleep on your right side. I thought, yes, ancient truth. But anyway, do what you need to do, but shield yourself, set your mind into something beautiful before you go to sleep, and then shield yourself. Because they say the helpful spirits try to always come to like bless our mind during the night. They always try to come to bless our mind. So in a way, if you think of that too, welcome, positive, beautiful spiritual beings to come and bless your mind during the night. It's sort of like putting out the welcome mat. You can just think, my beautiful spirits visit me during my sleep. May they help me with my spiritual practice during my sleep. May I be protected during my sleep. And you notice it's usually kids that have a lot of nightmares and night terrors because they're very open, So as adults, we learn to close up a lot more, but kids are pretty open, so they do have sometimes more trouble. So the egg of light is a really good thing. And I also, sometimes when I'm driving on the freeway and I'm getting a little anxious, I try and picture the whole car being surrounded by light so that nothing bad can happen. Just kind of protecting covering it all with protection, which makes me feel better and more relaxed driving. I hate freeway driving. I hate freeway driving. Oh, It's way too fast. It's like, who devised this? Ugh, you know, it's like 60 miles an hour, death on either side of you. You just think, if you hit a rock the wrong way, you know, your car is broken and you're, you know, it's just like, it's nuts. It's nuts. You know, we're
slightly faster.
I always drive in the slow lane, and they're passing me anyway. They come right up to the back of me. You know, I'm in the slow lane, and they're really irritated. Then they go around me, and I think I'm in the slow lane. That's why they have two lanes: the slower people and the faster people. You know, so anyway, I think we need to recognize that we are living in a degenerate world, and that we need to make a conscious effort to do something different. We need to make a conscious effort to evolve ourselves, and a conscious effort to just choose what we're putting in our mind, and choose like how we act and what we believe in, and you know, who our friends are. It's good to pick your friends, you know, and it's just it's good to make conscious choices about what you want to do in your life. Very, very good conscious choices. Let me read a little bit about imagination from How to Transform Your Life. Because imagination is like when we are creating our own personalized meditation. It's okay if we use imagination. It's okay if we use our own examples. It's okay if we use structure in such a way that's meaningful to us, like, you know, meditating on compassion, or say maybe equanimity. You can think of people that you think of either higher than you or lower than you, and just think, in the eyes of the Buddhas, we're all the same. We're all equally important. You know, and it's not that way on the earth, but it is that way in reality. We're all equally important. How is it possible for something that exists, this is page 230, how is it possible for something that exists only in our imagination to become a reality? It's a remarkable quality of the mind that we first create objects with our imagination and then bring them into our everyday reality. In fact, everything starts in the imagination. So your spiritual journey can start with your imagination of wishing yourself to be more spiritually oriented. It starts with your thoughts. For example, the house we're presently living in was first created in the imagination of the architect. He or she then made a design on paper, which acted as a blueprint for the builders. If no one had at first imagined our house, it would never have been built. In reality, our mind is the creator of all that we experience. All external creations, such as money, cars, language, computers, were developed in dependence upon someone's imagination. If no one imagined them, they would never have been invented. In the same way, all inner creations and all Dharma realizations, even liberation and enlightenment, are developed in dependence upon correct imagination. You know, like incorrect imagination would be imagination that brings you down. Okay, you could be imagining all the terrible things that could happen to you, or you know, all that you could be remembering all the hard things that happen in this world. You know, it's sort of like letting your imagination go to the negative. I do it. We don't have to. Therefore, both worldly and spiritual attainments, correct imagination is of primary importance. Correct imagination is imagination that uplifts you. Okay, you're aspiring. We are aspiring spiritual beings, which is really terribly wonderful. Terribly wonderful. And we want to, it's interesting, Geshe said, with effort we can accomplish anything. With effort we can accomplish anything. And when you think of things that you've done that require effort, like, you know, getting through school, or showing up at your job every day, or, you know, cleaning the house, everything that we do requires some kind of effort. So you would just think, well, effort, with Geshe says, with effort you can accomplish anything, which means with effort you can reach enlightenment. It's very nice. If we do not apply ourselves to our spiritual practice, no one can grant us liberation from suffering, but we can get it ourselves. We can move ourselves beyond suffering, beyond pain, beyond negativity, and into just realms of happiness and peace, enlightened mind. We are often unrealistic in our expectations. We wish we could accomplish high attainments swiftly without having to apply any effort, or not very much effort, just a little bit of effort when it's convenient. And we want to be happy without having to create the cause of happiness. Unwilling to endure even the slightest discomfort, we want all our suffering to cease. No matter how much we long for these wishes to be fulfilled, they never will be. If we do not apply energy and effort to our spiritual practices, all the hopes that we have for happiness that doesn't change will be in vain. Effort, its function is to make our mind happy and to engage in virtuous actions. Effort in Buddhism is defined as like happiness, joy, when you engage in virtuous things, positive actions like, studying or going to class. And here's a little bit of encouragement about meditation, because he knows, this is a meditation master that's putting his knowledge into this book and in a way that we can understand. He has spent 20 years in meditation retreat, about 40 years in the great monasteries of Tibet studying Dharma, and about 20 years in retreat. Sometimes 7 years here, 3 years here, 1 year there, but altogether about 20 years in meditation retreat. He's written 23 books. It's accomplished. So he's speaking about meditation to us as beginners. However difficult meditation may be at the beginning, we should never give up hope. Instead, we should engage in the practice of moral discipline, which protects us from gross distractions, though you don't go too far off. Okay? With moral discipline, you kind of keep yourself in line. You don't get really distracted, like you don't go out, drinking and dancing and, getting COVID. It's like you watch yourself. You make choices about how you want to spend your energy. Moral discipline is just choosing the high road at all times. So however difficult meditation may be at the beginning, and we're all at the beginning, okay? We just started this as adults. We should never give up hope. Instead, we should engage in the practice of moral discipline, which protects us from gross distractions, getting too far off, and acts as a basis for developing pure concentration. Because if we act as an ethical being, our mind is just more clear. Moral discipline also strengthens mindfulness, which is the life of concentration or meditation. Because in order to practice moral discipline or making good choices, kindly choices, you have to be mindful of what you're doing. You have to be mindful of what you're saying. It's being a double Sagittarius, I very easily stick my foot in my mouth. I say something just kind of a direct way. Now, I'm starting, as I'm getting older, to think I think of what I want to say, and then I think, how's a softer way I can say that to convey the idea? So you don't have to say it in the most slap you in the face kind of way. This is the Sagittarian way. But you can think of a gentler way to say things. So that's one of my particular practices, is trying to remember to have my words be accurate, what I want to say, but in a gentle way. So that's good. So Buddha said, if you have only effort, you have all attainments. But if you have only laziness, you have nothing. From Buddha, if you have only effort, you have all attainments. But if you have only laziness, you have nothing. A person without great spiritual knowledge who, somebody that's just a regular Joe, okay? A person without regular, Joe or Josephina. A person without great spiritual knowledge who nevertheless applies effort consistently will gradually attain all virtuous, all positive qualities. However, someone who knows a great deal and has only one fault, laziness, will not be able to increase his or her good qualities and will gain experience of spiritual paths. Understanding this, we should apply joyful effort to the study and practice of pure spiritual teachings in our everyday life. We have a map, we have guidance of how to act, and lots of Buddhist ideas are very similar to the ideas of the great religions, okay? The golden rule goes through all the great religions, but Buddhism gives you a lot more instruction, a lot more how to. A friend of mine who was raised in a traditional church said that, well, they're sort of saying the same thing, But Buddhism gives you a lot of how to. Buddhism gives you a lot of how to. They'll break things down really specifically, like how to love other people more, how to not be so selfish. You know, it just really gives a lot of necessary information. Okay, so let's do the prayer on the little red card, and the liberating prayer. Liberating because it liberates us from suffering and problems and pain. It teaches us the way to peace and happiness. It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. He knows you're here, Aaron. It won't work. Oh, no, here it goes, I think. We're having trouble with things. That what's really ironic is I tested this out, it worked perfectly before class. And now it's giving trouble. Aaron, it's your fault. No, I'm kidding. It's just you just get more upset than maybe everybody else. Okay, so we're gonna say our prayer today. Okay.
Could it be that I noticed mic 1 isn't plugged in? Is the speaker supposed to be in that jack?
You can unplug something and try it.
And that is probably leading to the stand there, and that probably goes to the computer.
It's funny, I mean, I tested it out before class, it worked perfectly. And now it's just giving trouble. Very annoying. That's okay, we're just gonna say the prayer. We know how to do this. We've done this millions of times. So the liberating prayer. Praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, the Buddha, founder of Buddhism in our time. O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace. You who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel, your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme, unchanging friend, a request from the depths of my heart. Please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forevermore. So,
I have an idea as to what's going on here. Like, is your phone still on?
It's in the car.
It's in the car. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. I just turned it off instead of being on Do Not Disturb. Could that be the issue if we try it now?
well, we can try it now.
You think it has something to do with the phone?
Possibly.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We're just having a little trouble with our iPad. Our iPad is a little temperamental, but it worked perfectly before class. I test it out before class every day.
Yeah, incidental problems are always the worst
I know.
technologically.
I know. Okay, so sitting with your back straight, physical posture meditation. The most important thing is to have your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Hands in your lap if you wish, thumbs lightly touching, and right hand in the left. The right represents method, or all the things we do, and the left represents wisdom. So we join the two, method and wisdom. So begin by watching your breath, the slight physical sensation as your breath enters and leaves your body at the tip of your nose. With each breath, let your body relax. And with each breath, your mind and your body lets go more and more. Now turn your mind to the short but powerful meditation, Om Ahum. This is the mantra of all the Buddhas. And we ask for their blessings. With Om, we're asking the blessings of Buddha's body, that our bodies may be healthy and radiant. With Ah, we drop down to the heart. We ask that Buddha make our speech kind, considerate, truthful. And with whom we ask the blessings of Buddha's mind, that our mind keep developing, keep becoming more spiritual. So Om, Ah, Om. Om on the in-breath, Ah briefly at your heart, and Hum on the exhale. A good meditation because you always know what to do. Om, Ah, Om, asking for blessings. asking for blessings. For the last 2 minutes, just repeat the mantra to yourself and just enjoy any pleasant feeling that may have arisen. Ah, And we end the class with a dedication. We dedicate our learning tonight, our dedication to come to class and to learn regularly. We offer that, merit that positive energy to our progress on the spiritual path towards enlightenment for the sake of others. So next Tuesday night, all next week, I'll be on retreat preparing to give the empowerment of Buddha Vajrasattva. And so next week, Tuesday night class will be live streamed only by one of our wonderful practitioners, a 15-year practitioner and a very good teacher, Linda Coble. So tune in live streaming, and it'll be live streamed as a class. So our empowerment will be on Saturday, May 1st. And empowerment is defined as special blessings that heal our mental continuum and awaken our spiritual nature. And the empowerment that I'll be giving will be that of Buddha Vajrasattva, very, very powerful Buddha. And his whole job is to help us purify any negative feelings or any negative karma that might be ripening to cause us pain. So, like we think, he helps us purify our negative minds now, like worry or sadness or irritation. And he helps us purify the negative karma that we've have from past lives. Like every action that we've done, body, speech, or mind in our past lives, leaves an imprint on our root mind that goes life to life to life. And it isn't finished until either it ripens as something painful or if we purify it beforehand. When we have the empowerment of Buddha Vajrasattva, that makes our purification much more powerful. So I figure it's the cat's meow to purify negative karma before it ripens as something painful. So we don't need to have painful things in our life. We want our life to be good and happy and peaceful. So please come to that if you can. And I think that's all that's just coming up right now. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Sarah. You have a good night, honey.
You too.
No, it's stiff.
Yeah.
I really fell asleep in the first one, so I nap and I did something.